Hi everybody. Although I'm sure it went way too fast, I hope you each enjoyed a wonderful summer. I'm Denise, your moderator for today's session and an official empty nester. This is how happy my kids look being away at college. And how excited I am looks like this. I know, he lost the boxing match, but he's still a UFC champion, which is how I feel having gotten my kids off to college. It looks like everyone has about connected, so let's go ahead and get some quick and light housekeeping out of the way. Please know that everyone joins the webinar already muted, but here at the bottom of your control panel is where your questions can be typed. You can type them in at any time throughout the session, and then during the Q&A, I will read them aloud in the order received. Also, as soon as the replay from today is available, which is typically within the week, we follow up with our encore email, which will include a direct link to the replay, all of today's questions and answers. And here is a screenshot of the top portion of our webinar page, easily accessed using top navigation. Everything webinar can be found here, past webinars, upcoming webinars, and you can even request webinar topics as well. At the bottom, you'll see our most recent webinar, and then if you scroll down to the second half of the page, you'll find all upcoming webinars on the right and all of our past webinars among the categories on the left. Before I hand off to Elena, please keep in mind that for webinars, we typically highlight basic capabilities. The team does and is always happy to provide demos for individual organizations where specific business needs and nuances can be better addressed. That is it for our housekeeping. So Elena, if you are ready.
I am. Thank you, Denise.
Okay, I'm going to hand off to you.
Okay, thank you. Everyone should see my screen right now. Welcome, everyone. Today we will talk about supply chain process in QED, and in particular, its purchase orders part. We will look briefly at some factors affecting this process and what can be done to empower its buyers and give them the right tools to promptly and efficiently react to constantly arising challenges. I created this schematic to visualize what we have to deal with when it comes to purchase orders creation in QED. For all of us here, the backbone of the data portion of the process is QED system. When it comes to PO creation process, we have to deal with component demands by promptly and accurately creating purchase orders. In ideal case scenarios, our process is balanced and all factors that depend on it can be put together in this sort of a pyramid. When we keep in control resources required for running the process, our inventory is optimized to ensure product availability that leads to customer satisfaction and as a result to our profit. But what if the resources we have allocated cannot deal promptly with mounting requirements anymore? Our process goes apart unless we will take a corrective action. Corrective action in QED would be started using MRP. It will calculate and track demands, inform us about required actions, and can even theoretically create or update purchase orders. However, as experience shows, just having MRP even ideally tuned up cannot always solve a problem with mounting purchase order demand. We often need to review and verify MRP results before taking any action it suggests. Also, PO creation demand might not be related to MRP at all. For example, you need to bring into QED purchase orders from another system or copy POs from one system, one database or domain and paste them in another one. What we can do to fill this gap or in this question mark on my slide? Our solution would be to use data loaders technology. With PO Workbench, you can create or update mounts of POs in a short period of time, have all required information to make a decision at your fingertips, maintain audit trail of all actions, and keep your suppliers promptly notified about the changes. You also allow your buyers to stay agile and keep personnel costs low. Want to mention that it's a very versatile tool. I'll show you a couple of scenarios and you'll get the ideas in how many different kind of situations you can use it. If you rely on MRP, you can use it to promptly act upon MRP suggested actions. Or you can put MRP aside and use this tool to create, modify, and monitor purchase orders process. First, you can easily download existing POS from QED. Just tell what QED database to use, put your selection criteria, and click on download. This is a very powerful report because it allows you to analyze what you have on one Excel spreadsheet. Open POS, closed POS. If you want to check when item was purchased last time, what supplier, what price, you can get this information from this report. But it's not just only a report. You can use it as a template for your new purchase orders. For example, I want to create new purchase orders for the same supplier or for different supplier. I can just leave only lines I need. I can specify supplier code, ship to site, what items I want to purchase, what quantities. Let's say I want this. What is the unit cost? And, sorry. And I can specify other parameters. But moreover, I have a number of handy inquiries and reports here available. I can check supplier report, I can review inventory report, I can check the supplier inquiry if I have supplier item defined for this item. I can also review purchase order receipt inquiry and so on. Once I specified the information, specified all the required information, which was really easy because I used the old purchase order as a template, I can say that yes, I want to create this new purchase order and click on create purchase orders. Before that, if for example I didn't know the price or item description or other details, I can use a validate button to get certain data, default data from QED back to Excel. I'll just skip this step during this demo and proceed with create purchase orders. In this case, everything was loaded successfully, my data were accurate, and I got purchase order number that was assigned in QED. So I can review purchase order how it exists in QED. But if I would make any mistake, for example, if I would try to upload an existing part number or invalid site or use invalid supplier code and would try to create purchase order, I need to tell explicitly that I want to create it, and I would try to make sure that this is indeed wrong item part. Create purchase orders. No, or because I am loading it as a memo item, that's why it lets me to proceed with memo items, which is a good example. But for actual items, I would get validation on validation error message on the item number. Let me show you how this error looks like. Again, I forgot to put the, so this is just another control step that prevents users from accidentally creating purchase orders by clicking on the wrong button. So I need to explicitly say that yes, I indeed want to create purchase orders. And my actions doesn't go unnoticed because you can configure the system, and by default it's configured to send information about changes to existing purchase orders and details of the new purchase orders to either vendor or user who created it and to the admin account. So it's all get collected in certain admin mailbox, and you can track when the changes were made and who made them. So I will try to create what I want to do here. Yes, that's what I was going to show you. If I try to feed QED with wrong data, I will get error message and nothing will be uploaded, and you will see that it's not a valid supplier. So this was an example of how you can use existing purchase orders as a template for new purchase orders. Also, you can, if you have purchase orders that are coming from an external system, you can use open file button, and it will open file with generated by the external system and will pull information into this Excel spreadsheet, validate it, and it will be good to go into QED. This open file is usually a custom function. It depends on the specific format of the system where PO are coming from, but the logic is the same. So you click on the open file button and you'll get the, you can select where you file it and open it in Excel, and it will be, data will be populated into the correct columns. If you miss certain information in that file, you can use validate function, and it will bring to you the names, the item description, the prices, all information necessary to create purchase order in QED. Also, how you can use this, another way to use this tool is you can download purchase order from one domain or one database. For example, you can select the database you want to download the data from, click on download, and then you can change your database, select another database, and then click on create PO in that another database. The nice thing about it is, besides the ability to quickly download and create, an ability to pick what you want to move or recreate in another domain or database, when you try to actually upload it, if supplier code will be missing or item number will be missing, you will see that error, and you will be notified by the system and can correct it. Also, we have the PO create and PO modify function separate from the. It was originally a decision based on the process control, since sometimes PO creation is more strict than PO modify, and there is only a number of fields that are allowed to be modified in purchase orders, and one person can be authorized to, let's say, create new POs, but another one can be authorized only to modify it. Also, if it's been approved, you might not be allowed to make certain changes to the POs unless there's an agreement that you can update existing purchase orders. So this is configurable as well. For example, here the same logic. You can, if you're working in the same database, you don't even need to reselect the database. But if I just switch, so I will select back my test database. You can download all your existing purchase orders based on the selection criteria you specified. I want to see only open lines, so I will see all lines. But so here, I will scroll to the right, I will see there is one PO that has status closed. But if I will say that show me only open POs, I will see only open POs. And here in green, you can see only fields that I'm authorized to update. It's quantity, due date, cost, and pretty much it. If oh, and status, of course. By default, this tool does not allow to close line, but it allows to cancel it, assign the X status. But again, that's a generic version. It's all configurable. That's when it comes to PO create and modify. And so it's kind of pretty self-sufficient, but this tool is also very handy and very helpful when you have MRP and you need to promptly act upon MRP suggested actions. And for this, you can use action messages report. You can download from QED pure related actions. Here, all of them are listed. You can select only those that you want to look at. I don't have much here in the test system, so I download all for better visibility. And here you can, if you scroll to the right, you'll see what's going on. Here, past due purchase order means I need to change the date, change expedited, de-expedited. And then there are a couple of purchase orders that are not required anymore. So you can select some of those actions, or all of them, or some of them. Let me go to this. Just I want to show you what happens. So this is past due purchase order. This is cancel purchase order. And this I want to show you how you can automatically create new purchase orders. So this is the release due for planned orders. I want to approve these two actions as well. And now I want to proceed with MRP actions approval. Before I will do that, here also there is a number of reports and drill downs in addition to all information here in the detailed section about the cost, about the quantity on hand. If you have enabled then usage calculation, and there are some other details. You can also check if, let me see, you can also check, for example, receipt history, see it here, or you can look at the MRP detailed report to analyze why this action even shows up here. And there are a number of other reports. Once you selected all action messages that need to be approved, you can click on approve, and it doesn't create anything yet. But first it runs the validation. Here it can't approve because I want to act upon this MRP suggested action, but I didn't say what supplier I want to pick. So I will put, here's my message. I want to put supplier code here, and I will want to click on approve. And what's happening, the tool automatically sorts all those actions. Here are purchase orders that I need to create, and here are the purchase orders that I need to modify. And for modify, it also suggests me the change, what the action should be like. This is my purchase order that MRP thinks is not necessary anymore. I need to cancel. And here I think the new dates, yes, new dates need to be assigned. And this is purchase order that is required. So here in the action messages, this is the message related to past due purchase orders. I can further do the further analysis here, and once everything, all data are verified, I can click on create purchase order, and it will go into QAD. In this example, there are only a couple of lines here and a couple of lines here, but it could be massive. You have up to 100 lines here. And again, each PO creation and each PO modifier will generate email to the either administrative account, email account setup, or if you enabled it, it can go directly to the supplier. Or if you don't want to go to supplier, you can set it up so it will go to you, and you'll just forward email to supplier if you think it's necessary. I will show you an example. So here's the email that I received as a result of creating new purchase order. So it's standard QED output in this particular case, and I am, as a buyer, got notified that new PO number, all the information about supplier and what needs to be ordered. So here I can simply forward it to supplier, or if you're looking into the audit trail, then this kind of emails will be collected in the auditing mailbox, and you will be able, or administrative mailbox, and you'll be able, or someone who needs to will be able to review and see what POs were created and for what suppliers. Also, that was just a basic approval, MRP action messages approval. In addition to all that, again, if you are not using MRP or do not rely on MRP, the PO Workbench can be equipped with the demand report. Here's a sample of this demand report. What it can do, you can specify a range of item numbers, site, buyer, click on download, and it will calculate projected demand and projected shortages based on your existing production schedule or sales, based on your existing demands, finished goods demand. Let's put it this way. So here is an example. This is my component, and it says that it's short, and I see how much is required for each particular date. Yeah, I have some old data in the system, so dates are kind of weird. But right now I'm looking at the all details. What I can do, I can look only at my shortages and then just copy paste that information into the PO create or tab and use it as a basis for my purchase order. Okay, so to summarize, what you've just seen is were a couple of scenarios of how this PO Workbench tool can be used to empower your buyers and keep your supply chain process lean and agile. If you're interested to see how it can be used for your particular situation or scenario, I will be happy to assist you and look into details. Now, if you have any questions about this tool or purchase order process in QED in general, I will gladly answer them. Denise, please feel free to take over control of the screen and moderate Q&A session.
Q&A, just real quick. I know everybody's time is precious. Upcoming webinars. We do have 2 upcoming webinars, October and November. And let me see, real-time book-to-ship information. And in November, Christian actually returns to present, and he will give us keep on top of your changing safety stock needs. We also have a couple of fall conferences I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that we'd be attending. We have the Midwest User Group Conference, and this year 32Soft will be attending the West Coast User Group Conference as well. So if anyone will be at either, please be sure to say hello. Webinar registrations are open. Information and registration links are available at the bottom of all of our communications and on our website too, of course. Olena, Christian, before we wrap up, is there anything else, or are we good to close out?
Good. If someone forgot to ask any questions or want to set up separate conversation, please feel free. You're always welcome, and we love learning about different kind of process and how we feel really good when we can find a solution for them.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, well, thank you, Olena and Christian, and we will close out. As in life in general, relative to processes and procedure at the workplace, it's also true. Balance is not something you find. It's something you create. So if you don't have balance, let's get right down to creating it. Thank you everyone for your time today. We hope you can join us again next month. Have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.